Hello, Merry Meet, and happy Beltane. It is tonight. Anyway, that's not what I'm going to talk about today. What I'm going to talk about is a review of a paranormal show. And the show I want to review is The Dead Files. Now, The Dead Files is produced by Travel Channel, I think, yeah, Travel Channel. And it basically follows two people, a medium called Amy Allen and a former detective called Steve Discovery. I think it is. I think it's Steve Discovery. Anyway, they work as a team, but they don't communicate during the show, at least I claim so. And basically, the camera follows both of them and shifts between them, where Amy go around and feels out a house or location that is said to be haunted, and Steve go and check various forms of things that have happened on that property. So yeah, there's good things and bad things about this show, so let's get started. I usually really like the shows that do have some sort of background check on what the mediums say. Basically, shows that end with going through old records and so on and so forth to see if what the mediums say have root in reality. I really like that detail. I'm not so crazy about how they've done it in this show, because it is done simultaneously, or rather, they don't communicate, so that it's not that she gets information and he then checks if this information is actually true. Instead, he looks for things like, has there been murders or anything dramatic on the property? Now, I have to say that if this show is actually real, then Amy must be one of the most accurate mediums I have ever seen. She picks up things extremely well. However, there are some things about the show that makes me doubt its authenticity. My main problem with this show is how many negative ghosts and spirits Amy meets. Here's the thing. In a lot more of the more down-to-earth shows that I like better, you generally have a bad or dangerous spirit every once in a while, but for the most part, it's about old grandmothers who's upset that her relatives sold off her china, or old men that's upset that the new owners of their home have cut down their fruit garden. But Amy always finds these spirits that have both the ability and the want to harm everybody involved, and it's always so extremely dramatic. And that makes me skeptical, because that seems to be more added for making it good TV than anything authentic. Another problem is that when all she always discovers is these murders and all of those things that you can discover about a location if you do some prior research, that's actually to me less impressive than when discovering details that only the closest family members would know about a not so dramatic thing. Let me take an example. In my favorite show, Åndenes Makt, The Power of the Spirits, there's one episode where one of the mediums gets into contact with the spirit of an old man who has come back because he's so sad that the family that live there now has cut down his fruit trees. And those fruit trees was his pride and joy. It's not hurting anyone, it's just a bit of a disturbing energy moving around there. And anyway, as she walks there, she discovers little details, like, for example, that he used to sneak down into the basement to scoop up a bit of the jam his wife made, and that he used sugar on his jam. He made sandwiches with jam and had sugar on top. Now, that's not a very common thing to do, and when then his relatives are traced down, they say, yeah, he did in fact have sugar on his jam. And those little details, those are generally not spread all over the internet, and it's not that easy to discover beforehand. And while they probably make far less exciting TV, it is more of a proof for me that there is something real to what the medium is saying than when they discover things that are relatively easy to check. Not that all of the things that Amy is talking about is easy to check, but I'm just saying. And also just the number of these negative spirits. Because in my experience, there's a lot of general disturbances, family members who had something unsaid, somebody who has an argument with their mothers, go out dying in a motorcycle accident, and just can't rest because they never got to square that off. All of those very common things and entities that they can't hurt you, other than basically, since if you're close to spiritual entities for a long period of time, it will drain energy from you. But other than that, will not hurt you and have no interest in hurting you. And you have a bad one every once in a while. But of all the episodes I've seen of, and there's quite a lot of the Dead Files up until now, there's been one incident where she didn't find a negative, dangerous entity that can kill and maim and rape. And that seems a bit odd to me. Now, to be fair, it can be that, of course, they too get all these houses full of jam-eating grandfathers, but that when she doesn't find anything shocking, they don't make an episode out of it. That they just basically sort out the episodes that will make the best TV. That's also quite possible. I'm not saying that it has to be fake, but I'm saying that it is very sensationalistic. So yeah, and the way it's framed too, it's basically, and in the beginning they of course have this intro and so, and they tell you if it's safe to stay or time to get out. It's so focused on the negative and so sensationalistic that while it's good TV, I mean it's entertaining, I do have my doubts. And I also get some doubts with the way Amy at times are working. I guess that the reason why it seems a little bit like an act to me. And to be fair again, this can be that she's just not very comfortable being on camera. So she overdo her expressions, because, I mean, that's often something you do if you are not, I mean, I do it when I'm talking into my YouTube camera. When you see interviews on TV, but for people that are not used to being interviewed, it's a very common thing to do. And I guess it can be that, but at the same time it do look a little bit like an act, so that when, for example, in one episode, one of the people that had called these guys in said that she had taken a hat from the haunted location and brought it to her home, and she was sort of going, I mean, if you're an experienced medium that are basically experienced talking with spirits and such, you don't react like, my goodness, I am so shocked. And it's a pretty common occurrence. And also when, basically, she shoots one of the spirits or scenes that she see and have a sketch artist draw it, then that's fine. But always when the sketch artist, well, or at least almost always when the sketch artist asks if the picture is what she saw, she sounds like she's about to cry. She sounds like she is the almost murdered assault victim that has just identified her attacker. Because someone says, is this what you saw? Yes. And somebody who is experienced with these things won't react like that. But of course, like I said, it can be that she's just not that comfortable on camera. So I am skeptical about these guys advising people to move out of their homes at times and such, because I am skeptical not everyone it's real. I'm not sitting here and saying it is definitely fake. I'm saying that there are some of these things here that I react to. Now, there's definitely been things that she has seen that you cannot basically just Google up, because it's been things that these the ones that live in the house and so has told only to Steve and hasn't really told anybody, and she still picks up on it. No, of course. Like in all of these paranormal shows, the host can then have told Amy that, or everybody could be acting. But if we're assuming that not everybody's in on it, then those are more of an indication that she actually has something, and that's far more impressive to me than all these murders and rapists and demons that seem to be flooding America. So yeah, I'm also somewhat skeptical that I don't have a problem with she not being able to cleanse houses herself. Not everybody who is mediums or psychics know how to cleanse houses, but I am a bit skeptical at the complexity of the advice she gives, because sometimes her advice can be sensible. For example, if she has contact with a spirit that is very dismissive of women, you might want to have a male medium go in and talk to that person, just because that spirit will then have more respect for a male medium. But sometimes it can be, oh, then you have to have a Mexican witch, and then a Catholic priest, and then as such, and then as such, and these rituals have to happen to so and so. Oh, by all means, cleanse the house. But try for that first. Do a general cleansing and try to help these spirits over to the other side. And I mean, a lot of what these various practitioners are doing are exactly the same thing with just different methods. I should also mention one thing that really got me very skeptical of her, and that was when she recommended that somebody get a male witch, a warlock, to do something. Because if you have any knowledge about witchcraft at all, and you should have that, if you actually advise somebody, get somebody to do witchcraft for them to solve a problem, then you should at least know the basics. And generally speaking, no, male witches do not use the term warlock. There are a small percentage that has taken warlock from the old word varlokur. But for the most part, if we go by general history of words, warlock means oath breaker, and it's not generally something a witch would use. Witch is not gender specific. A male witch is a witch. A female witch is a witch. It's as simple as that. And if you don't know that, perhaps you should not advise somebody to get somebody to do witchcraft for their homes. It's fine that she doesn't know how to cleanse homes herself. That's fine. But all of these, and then you have to get one of those and get one of those, is not necessary. And as a result, it generally people that she advised don't get to do anything about it, because her advice gets so complicated needlessly complicated. I mean, most don't know where they're going to get a Mexican practitioner of one particular form of witchcraft and then get her to cooperate with a Catholic priest, and then you need to find a shaman to bless you, and then you need to pirouette 5 times. Yeah. So the stories themselves are interesting. If you're watching the show just for the ghost story angle, then go for it. You can find it, so you can buy it for download on Amazon. You can also buy the first season on DVD. Unfortunately, that pay for view thing on Amazon doesn't work in Norway, so I've been watching episodes of YouTube, and I have absolutely no guilt about that when the legal ways to watch it has sort of been cut off from me. But anyway, so there's ways to get it. Watch a few episodes, see if you like it. It's nice and spooky, I guess, but as something that will this show convince you of the paranormal? Well, it didn't convince me. Well, I do believe in the paranormal, but you get it. I'm not convinced by what's going on because it's so overly dramatic. But of course, it can be that she just has bad luck and all of the spirits she meets is dangerous and so on and so forth. Or it could be that they only do shows about the locations that have such and such spirits. However, I think it sort of misrepresents spirits, basically, because generally speaking, if you have a ghost at home, you don't need to be terrified, because 99% of them are not able to hurt you and do not want to hurt you. They're just there, they're just energies and entities that are just there. That doesn't mean it's not a good idea to work with them and offer to help them over to the other side. And if they become a real nuisance, force them over to the other side. I don't believe in forcing spirits unless you have to in self-defense, because often that will make them happier. And also, like I said, if you have spirits in your home, you should always protect yourself because they will draw an energy from you. But it's nothing to panic about. But she sort of presents it that almost every spirit has the ability to attack you, and there's all craziness around. So yeah, I'll give this show 5 out of 10. It can be fun to watch, but it's not that convincing to me. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and have an amazing Beltane. And blessed be.